Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Happy December. I am so excited the month of December is finally here. I love this time of year. I've got my Christmas decorations up, which is just making me in a good mood every time I sit down to film. Today, of course, I am sharing with you my November favorites. I have a pretty small pile of makeup here in front of me. I was pretty selective this month. I did try out a ton of new makeup during the month of November, but a lot of the things I tried, I just kind of felt so-so about. I'm gonna talk about just the best of what I tried today. I'm briefly gonna mention a couple of the things either I'm still gathering my thoughts on, or now that I've tried them for a few weeks that I maybe just like feel kind of so-so about. A lot of these are lip products, surprisingly. Couple of eyeshadow palettes. I do have two old products that we're going to talk about today, but rather than give it all away, let's just get into it. Before we do though, special welcome if you are a new visitor here. So happy to have you here at my channel. I hope that you enjoy this video. I hope you'll consider subscribing, and of course make sure that notification bell is turned on so you don't miss out every time I upload a new video. And with that said, let's just get right into the makeup. All right, you guys, so let's start with a foundation that I think you probably will not be surprised by. I'm talking about the Sauce foundation. I actually have two shades now. I went into Sephora and picked up a second shade. Initially, I got the shade 160. It's a little bit too light for me. I went back and picked up the shade 210. This one is actually a perfect shade match for me. It's a little bit on the yellow side. I generally, though, would rather have something a little bit more yellow because I do have some yellow undertones in my skin despite the fact that I'm pretty light or fair. I almost wish I would have gone a half a shade darker than this though, because these two, this one actually I can use all by itself, whereas this one is kind of too light for me, so I have to combine it with something else, which I don't mind doing. I'll usually just pull out my like Flower Beauty foundation. I actually have a Wet n Wild Dewy foundation that I just picked up that's a couple shades too dark for me that I'll just add a tiny bit of that to get the shade match right. Not a big deal. Don't know why I'm talking so much about that. What I do love about this foundation is the finish. This is a really lovely, dewy, glowy finish. One thing I noticed though, this is kind of strange, but when I apply this with my fingers, it's not as dewy as when I apply it with a sponge or a brush, which I thought was a little bizarre because normally my fingers make foundations a little bit more dewy, like a more dewy luminous foundation will be even more luminous and dewy when I apply it with my fingers. I could be wrong about that. It's possible the day that I applied I was just having some extra dry skin, and I will say this month I've had really weird skin issues going on. I don't know if it's because I've been trying out a lot of face products. I suspect there's either a primer I've been trying that's maybe drying out my face, or some of my skincare products have been drying out my face, but I've had some like subtle peeling going on around the sides of my brows and here along my jawline. That doesn't happen to me very often, but I mentioned that because maybe that had something to do with the time that I tried this and I felt like it wasn't as luminous as it normally is. I am wearing this on my face today though. I've been wearing it for honestly, I've been wearing it almost every day this month. This is one of the only foundations I've been reaching for. I really do love it. The one criticism I have, or I guess thing I should warn about this, as much as I love the way this finish feels and looks on my skin, I do think that it can emphasize pores in the center of my face. Something about the luminous finish right here can make my pores look a little bit on the large side. So if you have very large pores or a lot of texture on your skin, it's possible you might not enjoy this. Or if you have oily skin, not sure how this would work for those with oily skin, but I really love it. It works great on me. It wears really well. It doesn't get greasy throughout the day, but it keeps me looking subtly dewy all day long, which I really love without getting greasy or wearing off. Let's talk about a couple eyeshadow palettes. I've tried out two new eyeshadow palettes this month, and I want to mention both of them because I've really been enjoying both of them. If I had to pick a favorite, I'm gonna go with the Natasha Denona Retro Glam. I know I just posted the video where I tried this out, but I've had this palette for about 2 weeks now, and I just really love it. I'm really enjoying this palette. It is the one that I'm wearing on my eyes today. I actually don't have any of the greens on my eyes. I just have some of these matte pinks. Up through the crease, I have this dark satiny brown smoked through the outer corner, then this taupe on the center of the lid, and then this shimmery champagne that is super, super sparkly. This actually reminds me of the shade, the really sparkly, beautiful special shade inside the Pat McGrath Mothership 7, the Midnight Sun palette that I have, which is such a gorgeous shade, such a gorgeous formula. It is extremely reflective and sparkly, which I absolutely love. You guys know how much I love something bright on my inner corner, my inner lid, and this has several shades that work for that. So I am really enjoying this palette. I love the greens in here. If you're not into mint greens, as I said in my last video, but in case you missed it, this might not be the palette for you because there is a lot of minty green in this palette, but I think it's a really flattering and fun shade to wear. Not overly bold, still somewhat neutral. I am just really, really happy with this eyeshadow palette. There is a reason this is so highly rated. If you look on Sephora's website, I think it has like 300 perfect reviews or near perfect reviews. It's so good. Everything that I love in a good palette and a really fun color story. But I also wanted to mention the Huda Beauty Empowered palette. I'm very impressed with this palette, but now that I've used it more, there are a couple criticisms that I do have with it. So I want to share those with you guys today. First off, I do have a complaint with this shade right here, which is a really interesting, very, very creamy eyeshadow formula. It's different than most cream shadow formulas. It almost feels like a cream face product would feel, like a cream bronzer or something. It's very, very buttery feeling, and it does crease on my eyelids even if I use an eyeshadow primer. So it makes me not want to reach into that shade despite the fact that it's one of the prettiest lid shades in the palette. I just feel like I can't wear it because it's gonna crease on my lids so easily. Possible that won't be the case for everyone, but I did find that to be the case for me. Another subtle complaint that I have are the creams here in the outer corner. So these are actually supposed to be gel liners. I find these to be not quite pigmented enough to use as an actual gel liner. I like a good, thick, solid potted gel liner, and I don't think these are quite as like creamy and pigmented as something like that. I have tried using these as like a cream to add something on top of to build some depth in the outer corner, and I don't like them quite as much as I like the creams in the Patrick Ta palette. I find them just to be a little bit sheer and not to do very much. I don't think they're bad, I just don't really find them to add anything to the look. I'll usually just pick one of the mattes to add to my outer corner. I do really love this taupe shade on the lid. This is such a gorgeous lid shade. These two yellow shades right here are so pretty, but they do have a really strong yellow tone to them that I wish I thought that color looked good on me, but I just don't really think it looks that great on me. I tend to struggle with yellow shimmers. Like, they're shades I have a hard time wearing. I just am not quite sure how to wear them on me. Maybe it's just my skin tone, my eye color. They don't tend to look the best on me. That said, I have a sister that at Thanksgiving dinner, she showed up with this gorgeous yellow shimmer on her lid. She has very big blue, like very blue eyes. My eyes are gray. She got the truly blue eyes in the family, and it looked amazing on her, that yellowy color, because it really made her blue eyes pop. Maybe it's because my eyes are gray. The yellows just don't look as good on me. So I find as much as I love those shades and think they're super pretty, beautiful finish, beautiful sparkly formula, I don't think this shade looks amazing on me. And I still find myself wishing this palette had one lighter shade inside, like a light champagne or a light shell pink, something that would be a little bit brighter than this color right here. Now that's just a me thing. I find that to be a criticism in any palette that doesn't have that in it. I really like a light shade for my inner lid, as I've explained 100 times to you guys, but I find that to be one thing that I'm missing from this palette. I can still wear it and get away with it. I mean, this shade is still pretty nice and bright. Let me just swatch this taupe color for you guys. This is beautiful, kind of like taupey gold. I mean, it's nice and bright. I don't know. Maybe that's a silly criticism. But I still feel like the palette would be a little more versatile for me if I had something just a little bit lighter than this shimmer right here, but that's just me. That said, I do think it's a great palette. I love the mattes inside here. These peachy tones, the mattes over in this area right here are so beautiful, and their formulas are all amazing. That is something I have had a criticism with some of Huda Beauty's palettes before. No problems with the shimmer formulas inside here other than that cream. The formulas are all really nice other than the little cream issues that I had, but good palette. I've been enjoying it. I've used it a lot, but if I had to pick one, I think I'd go with the Retro Glam. All right, let's get into a whole lot of lip products. First off, I have got to mention the Laneige Lip Glowy Balm. I picked this up during the Sephora sale. This is the gummy bear, I always want to say flavor. Let's call it a scent. I probably shouldn't be eating my makeup, but this stuff, you guys, if you have dry, insanely dry lips, this stuff is amazing. I love this. After I put it on, if I give it like 10 or 15, 20 seconds, it just like melts into my lips and softens up my actual lips. I mean, it's not just something you slap on top of your lips. It does something to my very dry lips that is just such a saving grace for me this time of year. I have very dry lips this time of year that almost nothing can break through, and this does such a good job. I actually like it a lot more than I like their lip sleeping mask. This is much more thick. It doesn't soften up, and I think I kind of understand why. I think this is meant to like mask your lips so while you sleep it stays on. I don't imagine this would stay on all night long, but I actually don't use this at night anyways. Maybe I should take it upstairs and try it instead of my Aquaphor. But as far as just something that's gonna soften up your lips during the day, I really love these. If you have a hard time finding things for your lips that really are going to soften them up and hydrate them, which is not something I used to care about. There was a time that I would never spend a lot of money. I mean, this is a pretty pricey lip balm. I would never spend a lot of money on a lip balm because I was just fine using just regular drugstore stuff, but this really is something special. And if you have very dry lips, which mine do tend to be drying out more every year, the older I get, the worse my lips get. This has been such a great help for my very dry, crusty, lined lips. Got to also mention this lip liner from Natasha Denona. This is the I Need a Rose lip crayon in the shade Calla. Very, very happy with this. The only criticism I have with it is that it wore down very quickly. I just sharpened it again for the first time right now, but it did wear down pretty fast. This wears really well. It's a budge proof. I mean, once you let it set down, it lasts just as well as my Charlotte Tilbury. It's a little bit softer than the Charlotte Tilbury though. So if you tried the Charlotte Tilbury lip liners, you felt they were a little too waxy or too heavy or pulled too much on your lips, you might like this one a little bit better. I love the shade of it. It's absolutely a beautiful peachy, like subtly peachy nude. There it is right there. I just have a feeling this is gonna wear out really fast. It is a little bit on the pricey side. I think this was like $22 or $24, but I really am happy with it. The shade is great. I've been loving this just on my lips alone. I'll just line them a little bit on the outside, slightly fill in just inside my lip line and kind of smudge it out, let it set, and then I'll just top it with a gloss. It's amazing, no matter what I pair it with, and it lasts. And the older I get, the more I appreciate a good lip liner. There was a time that I didn't even use a lip liner, but as I'm now in my 40s, I find this to be a good lip liner that lasts really well on me. Is one of my most valued items of makeup in my collection. Like, it's one of the most important things that I put on my face that actually helps me out, if you know what I mean. Kind of to go along with that lip liner, the Tower 28 lip gloss. This one is in the shade Oat. So I originally picked up the shade Coconut, which was a much more pigmented pink shade that I didn't really love how it looked on me, but this, you guys, pretty simple standard shade of lip gloss, kind of a milky peach that's a little bit on the sheer side. I'm sure I have other shades like this in my collection. I think I have one from Uoma Beauty. It kind of reminds me of NYX Creme Brulee, which is a classic, but the formula of these lip glosses really are super, super nice. They're very, very comfortable, not sticky at all. This is what I'm wearing on my lips today with that lip liner. I love this little combination. It's been in my purse all month long. Had to pull it out to bring it down here to use for you guys because I've been using it so much. But I now understand why these lip glosses have been so highly rated. They really are nice, and they're actually not too expensive. I think they're around $18 a piece. I'll list the price for you guys right here, but very, very happy with this one. So glad I went back and picked up another shade. This is like the perfect shade for me. If you like a lighter nude lip, you're gonna love this shade. But I did also want to mention another luxury lip gloss. This is a lip gloss from Westman Atelier. I got this in the little mini set that they had. So this is a full-size lip gloss. I know it looks tiny, but there is a lot of product inside here. It's just kind of like an interesting packaging. The lid's really kind of squat and short, but don't let that fool you. This packaging is super, super fancy. If you are looking for a gift for yourself or for someone else that's kind of luxe, this stuff is not just is it a great lip gloss. I mean, the formula is great, the color is great. Let me swatch it for you guys. This one's more of like a milky, like pink nude that has a subtle, subtle sheen in it. It's beautiful. I can't imagine there'd be anyone this would not look amazing on. You could put this on top of anything because it does have a little bit of sheerness in it, and it would just give it that subtle, like milky shine on top. So, so stunning. But what I love more than anything about this is the packaging. It is absolutely luxurious. I don't know that you guys can see this. I mean, you've got to feel it too. It feels very, very weighty and heavy. It just feels fancy. You have this like gold rim inside the lid there that says Westman Atelier around it. I mean, this just looks like fancy makeup. If you're looking to like wow someone that is really into makeup, this is a really impressive gift. And I would recommend the Duo. I do like the blush. It's not like, not wild about it. I think I've only used it 2 or 3 times. It's good, but I think it is the gloss that really stands out. But I think this Duo you can get from Sephora for like 40 bucks right now. If you're looking for a good gift for someone, I think this would be a great option. I also want to mention this. This is the Milk Makeup Lip and Cheek. This one is in the shade Quirk. So I've been really enjoying playing with this entire set. I picked this up also during that Sephora haul video that I did for you guys from the Sephora sale. I've actually been really enjoying all of the shades. The 2 lightest shades are kind of more summery shades. I'm not using them a lot right now. I imagine I'll use them more in the summertime because they're just kind of brighter, poppier, lighter tones. I think look better in the summertime. But this, you guys, this is the type of shade that I am all about. It's like a nice wine colored red that's like almost pink, but it's also not pink at the same time. It's not orange. It kind of reminds me, the shade of it reminds me of the ColourPop Cheek Dew and Hot Fuss that I'm always raving about because it's such a unique color. This is just one of those colors that I think would look good on anybody. But you can sheer these out and it's just such a beautiful color that looks like it looks like the shade your cheeks would be after you went for a run. Just really natural. I love these milk products. I think they're great. I've been reaching for it a ton over the last couple weeks. It's what I'm wearing on my cheeks today. It just gives you this nice, healthy, natural looking flush that is amazing. I love the formula of these as well. They're like the perfect, they're somewhat hydrating without being too glossy or slipping around. They kind of set down. Okay, we are almost done. I have two products I want to share with you guys that are older products. First off, this right here. This is the highlight palette from BH Cosmetics. This is currently back on the BH Cosmetics website. I think it's even on sale right now. I reach for this thing all the time. I've had it for a few years and I use it all the time off camera, but I've often not used it on camera for you guys because you couldn't buy it for a while. They didn't have it on their website, but it's back now and I love this. It's amazing. It is the highlighter that I'm wearing on my cheeks today. It's pretty intense, so if you don't like an intense highlighter, if you like something more natural, probably not gonna like this because I don't think there's a natural shade inside here. Very foiled and intense, but it's not glittery. I love that you can combine different shades together. Honestly, I can use just about any of these shades together in combination and I love it. I use this thing probably perhaps more than any other palette in my collection. I use a lot of single highlighters, but if I'm reaching for a palette like that has a highlighter in it, this is one of the first ones I reach for. It's in my shop, my stash all the time. It always ends up here on my makeup desk. I reach for it so much and have been using it for years and I highly recommend it, especially now that you can buy it again. And the last thing I had to mention is this shade of nail polish that I have on my nails today. This is the perfect shade of Christmassy green. It has this subtle amount of blue in it that just makes it very soft and flattering on your nails. I absolutely love this. I've had this for a couple of years now. I think this came out in their winter collection like 2 or 3 years ago. And every Christmas time I love pulling this shade out. Honestly, you could wear this shade any time of year because it is kind of that deep teal color. But around the holidays, I just love putting on my nails. I think it is so fun, so flattering. It goes great with a red lip. If you want to be obnoxious with your Christmas makeup, I'm kidding. There's no such thing as being obnoxious with your Christmassy makeup. Anyways, it's from Olive & June. It's the shade Besties. It's one of my favorite shades that they make. I love the way they do these like green tones and their berry tones. And this is one of the best ones in their entire lineup of colors. And I think that is everything, you guys. Those are all the things that I loved the very most this last month, especially with all the new makeup products that I tried. These are the ones that really stood out to me. There's some that I still am kind of like feeling out, like the Merit bronzer. There's some things I love about it, but there's some things I'm kind of working out with it right now that I'm maybe not loving so much. And it has more to do with my skin and some issues I have going on with my skin. I have like some discoloration on this side and some active breakouts on this side that are really hard to work with when it comes to cream bronzers. So that one's gonna need a little bit more time. I also have some mixed feelings about the Milk Primer that I tried out. So I'm still working with that one. Again, that's one of those things I think the skin issues I've been having this month have kind of thrown some things off for me. So maybe I'll have to come back in the next couple weeks, do another speed review video and review all of that new stuff that I've been trying. There's also that triangle blush that I enjoy. I like it, I just don't like it quite as much as I like the Milk one. But I'll come back soon and review all that stuff for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I hope you guys are doing well. Happy December. I hope you guys are getting in the spirit of the holidays. I love this time of year. And of course, I have some fun videos coming your way this month. So let that be a reminder. If you are not yet subscribed, make sure you subscribe before you leave. And I will see all of you guys very soon in my next video. Bye.
Look what I can do.
Is that a Scooby laugh?
Yes.
Yes. Did you teach her that, Tucker? Did you drink all your hot cocoa?
Yeah.
Make sure it's charged first. Okay, and then we'll take turns. Okay, you can take it in the front room by the piano, 15 minutes each. Okay?